welcome everybody. I'm delighted to be with today Mr. Zhanat Kurmanov, who is the CEO of the United Accumulated Pension Fund of Kazakhstan. We're having a short interview and I've got some questions for you. So, Mr. Kurmanov, my first question is, after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the newly independent states began to build their own models for social security. And a good example is the pension system of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Could you maybe tell us about that?
Hello. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to participate in this interview and to provide you with some information about our pension system in Kazakhstan. So as you mentioned, after the Soviet Union, Republic of Kazakhstan as independent state since 1991 tried to develop, to make some reforms in economics, and also as a part of economy, also make reform the pension system in Kazakhstan. Actually, you know that before the reform, we had only pay-as-you-go pension system. And of course, potential support ratio, this is which indicates the dependency burden on potential workers was decreasing. So in 1998, when we introduced accumulated pension system, the ratio was 7. Currently, it's about 5, but according to our actual forecast, in 2050, it's supposed to be 3.5. So the ratio is decreasing. And from this point of view, of course, in order to have a financially stable pension system, it's very important not only to have state pension system, state pension paid from the state budget, but to have multi-pillar system, which also includes accumulated pension system. And so this pension system was introduced in 1998. And currently we have a multi-component pension system. And actually, Republic of Kazakhstan was as a pioneer in among former Soviet Union Republic in introducing this accumulated pension system. This is a fully funded pension system, nothing to do with the state budget, with other sources of subsidies from the state, and defined contribution system. So it means that all pension savings belong to our contributors, and all pension assets are invested not only domestically but also internationally. And in addition to this, what is very important compared to other countries, our government also introduced state guarantee against inflation. It means that if you are retired, so we calculate the accumulated inflation and accumulated investment return. And if accumulated inflation is more than accumulated investment return, the state budget so pay pension guarantee in order to just liquidate this gap between the return and inflation. This is very important. It was very important, especially in the beginning of pension reform, in order to provide confidence of the population to the pension system. And currently, after these 25 years, it's possible to say that we have stable pension system, and people actually are in position to observe their savings 24/7 using our site, our mobile application. And it's very important for our population not only having these pension savings, but also to have this feeling that you are a part of the pension system, and these savings belong to you, and actually they are invested. You can see the growth of these pension accumulations. And in terms of financial literacy is also very, very important.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much. You mentioned there that the fully funded pension scheme is celebrating its 25th anniversary. And I think you've touched on one or two of these, but maybe you could share with us the key achievements and what obstacles you had to overcome during that period.
Actually, 25 years, it's almost half of the worker's life cycle. So, of course, in order to have the pension system fully matured, it's necessary to have 35, 40 years of experience. But nevertheless, we have good parameters of pension system in terms of coverage, in terms of number of pension accounts opened for our contributors. So total number of pension accounts is about 12 million, and total number of employed people about 8 million. So the coverage is quite good, and total pension assets is about 35 billion US. It's about 15% of GDP. And what is important, all these assets are invested, and not only domestically, but internationally. And for example, the ratio between domestic and international allocation is 35 to 25%. And actually having these domestic savings, national savings, investments into domestic economy is very important, because actually when we had Russian crisis in 1999, you see foreign investors were afraid to keep our government securities in their portfolio. And actually pension funds in our country were in position to support these investments. And actually it was very good in terms of reputation of the country, and in terms of having good investments in the portfolio of pension fund, because the rate of return was very good in this position. And in addition to this, current crisis also showed that having these pension savings in the country are very important. So in addition to the fund which we have in our country, National Oil Fund, we have pension savings, and in this case, so our economy was quite stable, and there were no risks to have negative trends in development of our economy. Actually, we have three sources of contributions to our pension accumulated pension system. First one is employers. They contribute 10% of their wage on a mandatory basis. Then in addition to this, we have 5% of mandatory contributions from employers. This is for workers in hazardous jobs. And in addition to this, state also subsidizes some contributions, for example, for women in their childbirth and child care vacation up to 3 years. And actually the coverage of workers are quite good, and also average annual contributions per active account is about 8.5 per year. So it's also quite good. Of course, it's necessary to further develop our accumulated pension system. And of course, it's possible to say that our accumulated pension system is as a mirror of our economy. So if our market, labor market will be developed and our so salaries will increase, of course, rate of contributions will be also increase, and the more contributions, the more savings you have. So this is, of course, very important. And in addition to this, it's very important to increase the efficiency of investments, because currently our investments are with a real rate of return about 1–2%, because the main asset manager is the National Bank of Kazakhstan, and we need to have a competitive market. And so starting this year, private pension asset managers will be introduced to the market, and each contributor would be in position to allocate up to 50% of their savings, choosing different private asset managers. I think it's good to increase the efficiency of investments, and also to have this competitive investment market in Kazakhstan.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. And also thank you for inviting ISA members to your anniversary event that is coming up. Could you tell us a bit more detail about its scope and objectives?
Yes, it's a privilege for us to have this international roundtable conference in Kazakhstan, because for us 25 years as an anniversary is a very good moment to share our achievements, and also to discuss with our colleagues from international organizations, from ISA, from the National Labour Organization, from the World Bank, from OECD, from FIAP, from IOPS, who are invited to this roundtable to share this information, to learn from them about the new trends in developing accumulative pension system. Also, we would be glad to see our colleagues from other countries and to discuss all these issues with them. And of course, so we have some achievements which we are ready to share with them. And first of all, for example, during the pandemic, it was very important for us to provide our population with remote access to pension services. And actually in 2022, ISA gave us a special award, certificate of merit among other European countries, about other European organizations, and mentioned that we provided good access to pension services, extending pension coverage via equal access, information and communication technology, and raising public awareness. It was very good for us to have this certificate from ISA. It showed that we tried to provide good services for our contributors. And actually, among 30 million services which were provided in 2022, 92% of services were provided in digital electronic format. So it's possible, as I mentioned, in 24/7 format to have access to full information to individual pension accounts. And actually, it's very important for our population to be in position to observe their pension accounts, and actually to have access, for example, to other services as pension calculator, in order to just have forecast of their future pension, not only accumulative pension system, from the accumulative pension system, but also from the state budget. So it's very important to provide these services to our population in order to increase the financial literacy and just confidence to our pension system. And of course, we would like to further develop our pension system. What is interesting that starting this year, as I mentioned, up to 50% of pension savings could be transferred to private asset managers. In addition to this, additional employers' mandatory contributions will be introduced starting January 1st of 2024. It means that pension savings will increase. And also a very interesting project, the National Fund, Oil Fund, will be provided 50% of the rate of return. And this asset, this investment return will be allocated to the among the individual accounts for children in Kazakhstan. So from this point of view, it's possible to say that we as a financial institution will be working not only with employers, employees, not only with retired people, but also with children. And it means that we will have the whole life cycle in our pension system. In our pension fund, it's very important for us to have this big client auditorium. And we are just preparing ourselves just to be ready to provide these services to children. And actually, they will be able upon 18 years of age to use these savings transferred from the national fund to the individual accounts to their education purposes, and also to buy flat. For them, it's also very important to see that our economy works and our national fund works for future population, for children, and they see the results of this process economy.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Maybe just to close, can you tell me, so when and where is the anniversary event being held?
We are looking to have this event in September 28th this year. And so we are looking forward to having you participating in this event as well.
Great. Well, we hope a lot of people will be there. So thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to the event.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.